I always felt that Sandy Alex G's harmonious, comfy folk tunes were some of his weakest, although still kinda charming, the sort of thing that you'd listen to while watching grass grow in reverse or something. The most exciting pop-offs for the singer-songwriter were when he began playing around with song structures and weird sound combos, like on the tracks Horse, Brick and Sports Star on his last studio album in 2017, Rocket. By no means a consistent album, but it's his most mysterious, since it's like he has his vision planted on a few separate things and tries to round them up into a sheep's pen of mutated livestock. It's an album that flips indie on its head so hard the blood rushes to the wrong parts of the body. In other words, Rocket is strange, but I do like the change. It introduces many interesting musical ambitions to the artillery of Sandy Alex G, who I will now call Sag, or Saggy for short. Lo-fi and behold, we now have a record that caps on the potential of Saggy's musical vision, which still has an air of mystery to it, but feels like the most coherent project he's fronted since DSU. House of Sugar is a fantastic record, only ruined by the live performance of the closing track that features a sultry saxophone, shattering the spectral mystery the album had been upholding, and replacing it with some sultry, sleazy Kenny G type wish-wash. It's a stumble at the last hurdle, and it sucks a large ostrich egg. So let's put that one aside and talk about how good the rest of the album is. Gretel from the get-go was already one of my favourite songs of the year, feeling disorienting but courageous and motivating. It sounds like the song is going in a splatter of different directions at once. There are like 8 different things happening at the same time, but it still sounds earthly and human and tangible. Why am I clapping? It is music that sounds pastoral but also eerie, like a haunted farm. The church organ that leads into the mandolin solo on that instrumental bridge, and then just sourced by the violin. Oh, makes me want to kiss a flower. The ghastly woodwinds that howl in the background like wolves. The rumble of the bass makes it sound like it's calling to you from a different plane of existence, which is cliché, but the song subverts cliché. It hates cliché. It leaves cliché's messages on scene. That's just one song I've talked about that displays the perfect songwriting craft of Saggy. Walk Away, the opening track, doesn't waste any time in preparing you for that disorienting climate. The whiny shower singing that begins the track actually just tells you right off the bat that this album has its claws out. The marching, stomping, busy collage of the track feels simultaneously like a farewell and a greeting. Even the tracks that are by Saggy's standards, very snappy folk tunes, still have odd melodic detours and chord progressions that will take a dive in another direction just when you think it's gonna move where you expect it to. The way that the piano and guitar parts that begin Southern Sky are syncopated throw you a little bit of a surprise. It's a nimble record that's on its tippy toes, and even the interludes on this album have some beautiful pockets of stargazy bliss, kind of expanding this dream world for a bit, like Project 2, which reminds me of Shooting Star Summit from Paper Mario. Sugar sounds like it's gearing you up for a boss fight with how busy it is, but it also sounds like such a fierce, overwhelming dream. Actually, that's it. This album sounds like it's a recount of dreams. Whether it actually was meant to be or not, I don't know, but the subtle surrealism makes it sound like Saggy's intensely trying to explore these mental portraits. The more that Saggy reflects upon friends who depart and pass away, the more he also tries to keep bridging the gaps with those who are very close to him. He sounds like he wants to be near you. You know, even with that borderline insulting southern accent impression on Bad Man, you know, it's still a good song. Oh yeah, by the way, this album's fantastic, didn't you know? It recluses into safe spots here and there, especially towards the end with Crime, but that's okay, they sound good too. I'll forgive, after a week of fancy dinners, maybe you just want to go back to a grilled cheese sandwich for a bit, you know? I understand, still gets an 8 out of 10 from me. Could have been a 9, but curse you, SugarHouse.